your host like that? Because it sounds so like fucking formal. Okay, wait, hello? Be like, welcome to the What We Don't Know podcast with your hosts, Ollie Evely and Risa Sabah.
What are you doing?
This is episode 2 of the What We Don't Know podcast.
Featuring Ollie Evely.
So your idea of introducing each other didn't work then?
Wait, but I was just introducing you.
I was supposed to introduce Benji.
Oh,
he was going to introduce you.
True. Okay.
Let's
start
do it.
Okay.
No, I'll just introduce Benji.
Yes, perfect.
We have our first guest.
Woo, guest!
Benji Melot. Welcome to the podcast.
How do you spell that? How do you spell your last name, Benji?
Melot. M-E-L-O-T.
Melot.
And how do you pronounce
Melot?
that? Melot?
Depends if it's in French or
Okay.
English.
So like Merlot, but without the R.
Like in French, I would say Benjamin Melot.
Benjamin Melot. Oh, okay. So Benji is short for Benjamin.
Yeah. And
How it took you that long to
I
figure
would
out?
I would have never guessed.
yeah,
honestly.
I mean,
you don't.
you never called me Benjamin.
You prefer Benji?
I mean, just easier
Just shorter
and
and
shorter and.
I think I will call you from now on Benjamin.
There's a lot of French names which you don't think of. I heard one the other day.
Laurent.
No, that's very French. That's definitely a French name.
Jean Richard.
Oh wait, can you give
Those
us?
couldn't be more French.
Yeah.
There's some. There's one I heard the other day which was
Jacques
like
Louis.
Ben, and I was
Jacques
like, oh,
Louis.
okay, Ben's pretty English for a French person. You have some English names as French people sometimes.
Jean-François.
That's not very English.
Jacques Louis.
Could you imagine how much an English person would butcher that French name?
What's
John. John Le Francois.
Jean François.
Yeah, for sure.
As you can tell, Benji is from
France.
France. No, he's from America. He's from the United States of
Yeah,
America.
brah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
we're gonna jump right into it. Benji
Yes.
Melot. Can I say Melot, or is it bad for me to say
No,
Melot?
it's very
Is it
good.
Melot?
Melot.
Or as an English person, so I say Melot.
Melot. You get Melot a lot. That you get called Melot a lot,
Yeah.
and you accept it now. It's fine. You
Yeah, I don't
understand.
mind.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't be happy if someone mispronounced my last name.
Yeah, but like, maybe the first couple of times I was like, yeah, no, it's not really how you should say that.
But you
But then-
realize.
Even in France, like people are like, Benjamin Melot or Melot, and it means a lot of differences in France. And
That's interesting. That depends on where they're from, I'm guessing, because
Yeah,
of their
like-
accents, the dialects. Melot and Melin.
yeah, like Mela or
Mela.
Melot. It's so different. So in the end, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I've known Ollie for what? Quite a long time. And I
How
still don't
long?
know.
10 years?
At least. And I
Yeah.
still don't know how to pronounce your last name. Evely?
Yeah.
That's
why not?
it? What is it?
Evely.
Oh, so I said it correctly.
No,
Yeah.
it's Everleg.
Evelay.
I hear a lot of Evleg.
Evelay.
Yeah. With the H pronounced hard.
Okay, so Benji, what do you do for a living?
So I work for a motorcycle company called KTM. So they build bikes in Austria, and actually they are like pretty good at racing as well. And
Firstly, I have to say, this is the What We Don't Know show.
Yeah, and I have no idea.
This is deep water for Issa.
I
Issa's
have
probably...
no
have you ever
idea.
watched a bike race at all?
With you, yes, but I don't know
what kind of race?
Puh.
Poor. Yeah, that's the race. That's the first thing you watched, actually.
No, you were saying, I don't know, you were saying like this is some bracket and they're doing these things.
You probably watched the Supercross race, I guess.
I guess.
Benji-
And there was like a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, that's a lot of ups and downs is Supercross.
yeah.
Benji race is the furthest thing from the Supercross
So
race you
then
can
I
get.
work for that brand, but also I race some races which are called rallies, which is something like really off-road in the middle of nowhere, like
middle of nowhere. Like they used to race. So the Dakar rally, which is the main focus for Benji's racing each year, used to be Paris to Dakar.
Where is Dakar?
Senegal.
How can Paris?
Yeah. So
Isn't there water between these areas? Like seriously?
Yeah,
So what?
but I used to take a boat like
so-
Okay, so there's a part where the water part is, the bikes go on the boat.
Yeah.
And so wait, so everyone has to reach the boat checkpoint first,
Yeah, like
and then go at the
basically
same
cross
time.
France.
I guess the
There's
early
like show stages, and then it starts really in Africa.
But-
That's interesting.
but
See,
the-
I would have never guessed that.
so the early days of Dakar, and to be honest, it's a little bit out of my like range of racing knowledge as well, to be honest. So the early days of Dakar, I guess Benji can explain a little bit more, were
Yeah, I'm not that older than you.
not age-wise, I mean like
No.
knowledge about Dakar. I'm to be honest not that experienced in knowledge about what it is. So I guess the early days of Dakar was way more raw than it is now. Like backpack tents kind of
Yeah,
thing.
there was
or-
much more adventure. Like it is still a huge
it's an adventure
now,
race now. Still.
but it used to be like, okay, races starts from Paris anyway, so we can go with our bike and our tent and a box of parts spray.
Was it that
box?
before?
A box of bug spray, you said.
Yeah,
Box of parts.
A box
Like,
of parts. Okay,
and
wait.
yeah,
So
that's
what are the limits to this? It's a race first and foremost. I'm guessing.
yeah, it's a race for the top riders, let's say, but it's an
Invitation
adventure.
only, or
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
not really. Like
kind of. You have to qualify to be able to
yes.
race in a way.
Yeah, like they have to make sure that you're able to.
Okay,
do it.
would you
But-
call that an invitational race?
No.
Okay,
then,
let's
or-
let's
The
let's say
invitation means it's
No, no.
free, but it's
to
not.
to be able to it's definitely not free. And to say that you want to race Dakar is not like, okay, let's rock up on the 24th or the,
It's not like
the 3rd
everyone
of
can.
January.
It's not like
and-
everyone can do Tour de France or something
It took me like 3 years to build a project for that one race.
to prepare.
But longer than that as well. It's not just the
Yeah,
fact
like,
that you're
I mean-
like, okay, I'm going to do this race. 3 years, boom, you're going to do it. You have to. It was
Like,
longer
I've
than
been
that.
thinking about it for like realistically like 8 years.
Oh, and we're forgetting. We didn't even ask the important question, or like I didn't ask. So you've raced one already, right?
I've raced 2.
You've raced two. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
But the funny story is like I studied as a mechanic on that race. Like,
Okay.
I've done 6 Dakars as a mechanic. So I worked 4 years for the Dakar winner for 2 years.
And for sure, that experience has helped.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I don't want to say like I did it to know more about that race and to be able one day to race it, but that was something I always wanted to be part of. And the first year I went there as a mechanic, I was like, yeah, that's a race I want to race one day myself as well. Like,
And
I was really pumped to be part of the team and actually a Dakar winning team, but that was not enough for me. So I was like, just take as much as you can, and you will work. Like I love my job,
So
but
that's interesting. So you were part of the winning team
yeah,
Yeah.
as a mechanic,
Pretty
a
much
few
from the
times,
get-go, right?
or
few times, yeah. Like
That's
I
impressive.
worked 4 years for
and then how many
Dakar winning guy.
Firstly,
roughly how many people in a crew are for one team? Let's say.
It's pretty much one mechanic per rider, and in the team there was 2 riders. There was a French guy called Cyril Desprez, and his water boy, which is like a helper rider,
Yeah.
but which was really fast as well. If you
Yeah.
do second in 2013, so there was first and second that one year. That was crazy.
okay, let me explain firstly,
That's amazing.
because we're getting into more specific. Even these things, to be honest, I still have loads of questions about things that I don't understand about, like even logistics and stuff like that. But the race itself, first you have to
Endurance.
understand how insane it is.
All that
But-
comes to mind is endurance.
But it's a lot to understand. So first, like, because I've followed it for years now, but I even didn't really understand the extent of how, like, it's crazy. It's a gnarly race, but just the specifics of
How long does it
waking
go
up.
for?
So it goes
Yeah,
for
something we didn't say. That's the length, the duration of the race. It's 2 weeks of racing through between 6 and 10,000 kilometers on a bike.
6 to 10, 4,000 kilometers is a big range. Why that range? Or
Because
it
it
depends
depends
on.
on years and
Okay.
terrain as well.
difficulty of
Oh,
terrain
okay.
stuff.
I do.
But
Okay.
basically, and you think 10,000 kilometers, and you straight away think like, okay, whatever, 10,000 kilometers. But for me, it's like
I've
when
never
you
counted
really
10,000.
when you think about it. I mean, you travel Africa basically in 10,000 kilometers.
How many countries? Just Senegal?
No,
No, like now since 2009, Dakar moved to South America.
Okay.
So for 11 years.
So they've just kept the brand name.
Yeah, they kept because there was some political issues back in the days, and they had to cancel it in 2008.
Safety?
So, yeah, for safety reasons.
Mhm.
So everybody went back home, and there was a big mess. And then the following year they decided to go
And
in South America.
the host of Dakar is a committee, a commission.
It's a
European?
French organization
Okay.
called the ASO,
Okay.
and they actually organize like the Tour de France and a lot of big competition, even Roland Garros,
Do you
which is
know-
a tennis race.
Do you know what
Tennis
competition? What do you know what ASO stands for? I'm
Amaury
curious.
Sports Organization.
Amaury.
Amaury, like Maury.
Okay.
So it's a family name.
Okay, for profit, I'm assuming.
But
Yeah, like it's
yeah.
big company with big.
Okay.
We have some stuff to get into with the full
Very,
stuff.
very interesting.
But I mean, the other thing is the size and the scale of the event itself is insane. Like, that's something else I think you don't realize until you either watch it, follow along a lot, or you. I think the main thing is to either go and be a part of it or go and participate, because you see the videos and you see how many people go and follow along, how many people follow, how many people like invested into the race, and it's mad.
And
It's-
it would be, I would correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that stuff like racing is not something that people just pick up as a hobby or as a sport or even watch if it wasn't for family influence. I'm assuming. I'm interested.
I think you have to have like a really
Like, do you-
heavy influence from somewhere. But to go and do Dakar, like you think about 10,000 kilometers, like you were saying before, it doesn't sound like a lot. But the race itself is, if you're not with like a big team or whatever,
This would be
is-
it's impossible.
I mean, you
I
get
would
back,
assume.
you do how many hours on the bike in a stage each day?
Like
5 hours?
racing
5
really,
hours.
Yeah.
Or
pretty much.
whatever.
But like
3
you can
to 5
spend like
hours.
the longest day I had was like 14 hours on my bike.
Amazing. Because I was just gonna say, I would assume that 5 hours sounds like nothing, but it's
5
actually
hours is a lot,
difficult.
but you have to think about the
Right.
thing that gets me a lot as well is you have to get to the start of the stage. So there's road sections where you have to
They call
follow
it
basically.
liaison. Yeah.
Liaison.
Yeah, it's like road sections or whatever you do between the bivouac, which is the place where we camp at night and where the mechanics are working on the bikes, to the start of the stage, which is not always at the exit of the bivouac. And then you have the stage for like
And
2, 3, 4, 5, 600 kilometers.
So you do your race. I would correct me if I'm wrong. Checkpoint to checkpoint.
Firstly is the liaison. So
yeah.
in the
You know
morning.
what? I'll explain you how
Go
it
on.
starts, like from when you wake up until when you go to bed.
And we're talking like what time? 4 o'clock.
Yeah, like. Yeah. I
There was
think
a devil.
Having a, that guy is
Cat
having a little.
distractions. Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, for-
Sorry.
Sorry.
cat.
So you
listeners,
started,
the
like-
cat is
We
touching
start
itself.
around depend like can be around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. So that means you have to wake up at least an hour and a half before to get dressed.
Okay. Get
Wait
ready.
a second. 3 o'clock in the morning, an hour before that is 2 a.m. You have to wake up?
Yeah, that was some years they wake up that time.
Just to get a head start, because
Not to get a head start. To
No.
get there. To get to the
Because
start.
your start time depends on your position of previous stage.
okay.
So if you the first, like if you won the last stage, you will start the first rider. And why do you have to start that early? Is because that road section that will take you to the start of a stage can be 200-300 kilometers, and you have to start when the
crazy.
daylight is on,
Yeah.
and you can't start earlier than that. But later you start. Later the cars will start as well, and
Mhm.
later everybody will finish. So you have to start as soon as possible.
As a courtesy, almost.
And yeah, but like you do not decide of what time you will leave. Like organization tells you you have to start at that time.
You literally have to do it. It's not even a courtesy. It's like you have to make this time. You have to ride your bike 200-300 kilometers before the race even starts.
Because
To give you a
imagine you
reference.
you have your bivouac here in Dubai, and the start of a stage is in Abu Dhabi.
But it's not even Abu Dhabi. It's
Yeah,
to put it into perspective, it's like waking up in the morning, 2 a.m., getting on the bike at 3, riding from Dubai to Abu Dhabi to Dubai.
do not
Back-
see the appeal in this.
But this is how insane the race is, okay? Before you even get to do the racing part, it's like waking up, going from Dubai to Abu Dhabi to Dubai to Abu Dhabi, then you get to start the race. Then you do the bit which is actually like, quote, difficult, race everybody for time, do the same again just to get back, to fix your bike, to wake up the next day to do it for 2 weeks. That's how insane the race is.
you know,
But
okay, so
we're not staying in the same place. Like it's
Yeah.
like you go all around the place.
yeah.
So
At first, like the way you were explaining it, I was just like, why would you ever do that? But you might. I wonder
So-
if some riders, racers, what would you call
Riders,
them?
yeah.
Either or.
Really?
Yeah.
Either? Okay, I wonder if some contestants, just to change
You can't use contestants,
Neither.
sorry.
No,
That
okay.
doesn't
No,
work.
no. I wonder if any of the riders have had mystical experiences riding like this in the heat and the stress. And I wonder if some people went, oh my God, what am I doing with my life? And they
I'm
still
sure
like every
almost
year.
every rider every year
has
that.
something like a
For
little,
sure.
like a little
Okay,
awakening.
Think about okay, so Dubai to Abu Dhabi is 139 kilometers.
Okay.
It's like going there and back, starting the race, finishing the race, doing that again every day for 2 weeks, as well as getting the money together to go and
Yeah.
actually do the event in the first place is insane.
This is going to be a bit of a...
For me as a privateer, that's the hardest thing.
Sorry?
For me as a privateer, so as a
Pay your own
non-professional
way.
paid rider, I have to finance everything. So that means I have to find sponsors to help me to start, and it
Yeah.
costs a fortune.
And raise everything.
And
When is this? Is it appropriate to ask if like roughly how much are we talking to ride? In
Yeah.
Dakar?
it's very
Yeah,
appropriate.
it's pretty open. Like we're talking about 80,000 euros for Dakar,
For
For
one
2 weeks.
which
And
is,
this is
times 4, like 240. Is it?
It's a nice sports car, let's say that.
No, it's 360,000 euros.
It's a
Yeah.
nice Porsche
yeah,
to go and torch yourself for 2 weeks.
yeah.
And you can finish in one day.
Yeah.
Thursday you can be out.
So
What disqualifies you?
Either, well, if you cheat,
I'll-
but also if you break your bike.
That's
Until
it.
now, so that's a good thing about it. Like,
So the
That
rough,
was-
the rough
yeah.
thing about Dakar is, unlike other rallies that they do throughout the year, there's one in Abu Dhabi called Desert Challenge. If you don't finish a day, you wake up the next day fresh, start, and you finish, and you say you finish the race. Dakar's a different game completely. If you break a bike, break an engine, whatever, you don't start the next day.
talking about it, I've got a breaking news.
Go on.
So I was in Paris last week for the Dakar presentation, and so now I'm gonna work a little bit closely with ASO for the region, for the Middle East, and I'm part of the correspondent for the region.
That's amazing, Mabruk.
Thank you. And so we discussed about what could be done, and they gave us some suggestion about being able to restart in case you have a engine fail or mechanical fail. And we discussed about it, and we agreed on you can give one chance to the riders to restart again. But so there was many questions about but what about the finishers then, because they don't want to be discredited about we're finishers and they're also finishers, even though they had a breakdown, and
Yeah.
so they will have a separate classification and separate finish line, and they won't go on a podium and everything.
Okay.
That's
But that's
interesting.
so that's
just to
agreed
keep
upon, or?
just to keep some prestige and separate and say.
It's just to keep them imagine you start and you unfortunately you broke a bike and you can't finish.
Yeah, but that's
And-
not. That doesn't come down to skill. That really comes down to luck, I'd assume.
It's not really luck. Everything comes for a reason, and I don't really trust in luck, to be very honest.
But
Okay,
so when we say a bike accident, we're not talking about the wheel just fell off. We're talking about someone hitting the dunes incorrectly.
There's so many things. There's
Give me a few.
anything that you can think of in your mind that okay, I'm safe, I've checked this, there's something else.
Poops.
Every single
Poo.
time. Anything.
Riders slipped on poop.
So
cow poop.
the first year,
Did that happen?
I'm sure it probably has. Not
That would be embarrassing.
But there is any you think you've checked the bike enough. There's nothing you can check enough. Anything you can think of to go wrong can go wrong.
You can have issues.
Yeah,
on brand new bike.
Murphy's law, right?
So Ben,
That's-
yeah.
yeah.
But so Benji said he's been to Dakar twice, right? The first year,
which is impressive, I think.
but the first year was
2018.
2018.
Eighth stage.
How I was involved a lot beforehand. How much preparation was it before that? A year at least.
More than that.
More than that. But we were, and it was.
I was planning to start in 2017, but middle of 2016, I was like, "Fuck."
You
I
didn't
can't
feel
get-
ready yet.
I was ready,
Well-
I was really willing to do it, but I just couldn't find the finance to do it.
Okay.
All the the sponsors researchers were like crap, like nothing, zero.
I
Literally.
mean, you have to think as well. It's getting people to give you 80,000+ euro
What would
for
they-
nothing. There's no.
I was gonna ask what would they get in return. But,
I mean, they
but
do. Sorry, it's not that they don't get anything, but it's giving it away that they don't get anything tangible back. They have to give it away for
you
sponsorship.
don't buy something. You
yeah,
just like
but that's why I've always liked the term sponsorship. It's only recently that sponsorship has meant, oh, we're gonna get you free marketing and so on. Like in the older world or whatever, sponsorship means I believe in you, and I'll pay for whatever you want to do. I'll sponsor you to dance.
Yeah. Now they try to make it more tangible. This
That's good.
space on the bike is worth this value, basically.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
what they try to do as much
And
as possible.
but I would assume that would go for riders who. How does it work in
Across the
Dakar?
board.
At a certain point, there's skill involved, like a lot of skill.
There's a lot of
Like,
skill involved.
That's what I'm asking.
all
like,
the way.
Yeah, and it's a partnership completely with the mechanics and the actual.
you need a
bikes.
proper good team. Like everyone in the team has to be aware of what he's doing, and he has to be good at it. Like you need good mechanics, you need good managers, you need good people for communication, you need good people designing graphics, you need good
To
physical
get a whole
preparation.
team.
Like everything from a year ahead. Like you need good people around you
And then
to help you for the right choices and everything.
private riders have a good chance
Not of winning though. Like
of if it's not for winning. What's the point? If I'm curious, I don't know if that's a personal.
So you've heard a
wonder
lot of people who do marathons, and you think like, why the hell would they want to do that? A marathon is a fraction of what it takes to go to Dakar.
But it's the same. It's the same mentality of why.
Exactly.
Exactly,
I think.
yeah. I think it
so. You
is.
get to the end, and it's like you've accomplished something.
Okay.
It's not like a 100-meter sprint. Okay, I've got it done. I got
But-
this time, and that's it.
The difference is marathons. You've got every weekend. You've got a marathon.
Yeah,
somewhere.
this is the other. A marathon is free. Sign up, rock up. Okay, might as well give it a go.
So let's abstract. Let's like zoom out a bit. So the point is almost to
Challenge yourself.
challenge yourself,
Yeah.
really, to
It
go
is,
into
definitely.
a challenge and then to see what it means to be human, to
Okay,
overcome
for-
something. Because
yeah.
it sounds superhuman.
No,
like,
like to finish a Dakar. Imagine, regardless of getting through the race.
So finishing is
Even-
a big thing.
Regardless
It
of
is, yeah.
finishing,
Good.
even getting there is difficult.
Yeah.
Even getting to the start.
What
line,
the
you have-
liaison, right?
No, before any of that, getting
to be
to
able
the start
to
of the
enter.
race.
Be at the start of Dakar, like
To prepare.
you're
yeah.
like, okay, I've got a bike, I've got a team, I've paid my entry fees, I've done.
How much are
everything,
the
like,
entry fees?
It's 16,500
Oh wow!
dirhams, euros. Sorry,
But that's a bit high to
It's
enter.
high. It's not cheap.
it is. it
Well,
is.
what does that cover? What does the 16,500 euros
It's
cover?
pretty much like start permission and a little bit of insurance, like health insurance.
Okay.
I mean, it
And
is
food
steep.
and like it's a lot of things.
Oh,
there is
it
a
does
lot-
cover quite a bit.
There
like
is a lot that goes
medical
into
and-
Dakar, though. Like
It's just
if-
the organization is just so big. Like
the organization is so big, but also it is a massive race, massive organization, massive risk, and there's so
and
many
the coverage,
people involved. Yeah,
the worldwide
there's-
coverage is huge.
but not only that, there's so many helicopters there, and
Yeah.
if you go into details about what it, I mean, obviously they're making money off it. There's no secret, but it costs them a lot of money to do. It's a big brand. It's
I mean,
huge. It's-
who would blame someone to
it's-
make money? I
It's
don't.
Formula One for off-road motorsports. Bigger.
For
It's
off-road motorsports.
yeah. It's
Well, Formula One is not endurance, is it?
No,
It's
but
the
like in
brand
terms
of
of it.
In
yeah.
terms of recognition. Okay,
yeah.
I've seen.
It's really like the prestigious off-road race.
I think almost everyone on earth. I mean, I would say in France, for example, because that's the country I know the most. 90% of people knows about Dakar.
I've heard of it numerous times. But when I say I've heard of it. I've literally just heard Dakar.
Heard
So
the
maybe,
name.
maybe they're not even talking about the race.
Maybe they talk about the
Dakar.
country,
Actually, exactly.
the city.
Yeah.
I think the more you look into it, the more crazy it gets, to be honest. Like you think of it, and for me, you look at the stages, the times, 3 hours and stuff. Like, okay, you could do 3 hours, but everything that goes into it, like getting the money together, getting to the side of it. First, I think the big thing is the decision that you want to make that happen. Like this is something you want to do. That's something you want to accomplish. It's not like going.
It's literally a lot of what you're saying, as you were just saying at the past 20 seconds, all I was thinking was, like, huh? I don't get the point. But then I realized, I was like, it's exactly like any human endeavor whatsoever. I want to get this degree. I want to become a good painter. I want to work for that promotion. It's actually such a human thing. What's more impressive about it is that you can actually see the steps, and you can try to prepare as much as possible for the ways you think it can fail, and you still do it anyways. And that's I see why that would be worth something we're working hard towards.
Yeah,
because it's like entering and you're like, where's the loose link? Where's the loose link? And I can prepare for it for next time.
And not having a loose link is the thing at the end. Like getting the medal and knowing that you finished, done everything, nothing went wrong. That's huge. So the first year that Benji went, he'll explain obviously a little bit more. But to give like a little bit of background, Benji is, for me, like the best mechanic I've worked with. On a bike, technically, understands A to Z, everything.
And I mean,
spot on.
Hyperbole aside, we're talking best mechanic, full stop. And not in the region, not in Europe.
I mean,
full stop.
For me, that's worked with me. And stuff,
that's what I'm saying.
That can technically work on a bike, and understanding and knowledge.
Trying to make sure the compliment hits home.
No, enough of that. No, but I mean, he was like, he ran the workshop in UE for KTM, and on KTMs, I would say, like on a rally bike, you would say you understand every part that goes into the bike as much as you can, basically.
And you had a background in engineering, or how does it work? Or just over time?
I was a mechanic. I learned mechanic like at school. I went to school to learn mechanic.
What would you call that? I'm assuming in France, like lycée,
like
or
B.Tech or something.
Oh, like a technical diploma type of thing.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
That, yeah.
I wish we had those kind of stuff.
Also, I had like 4 years studies, and then 1 year in a, like that was part of a
apprenticeship
thing. No, that was still part of a school program, but for like racing stuff. So there was 1 year
that's
in a
really
team.
cool.
Like
I have to say that's really
team.
cool.
So that's 4 years, and then how many years in Dakar?
5 years with that.
5 years on top of that. So
that's
you
crazy.
Can understand that he has a very good idea of
there
how
was
a motorcycle works.
7 Dakars before I started, actually.
Okay, plus 4 years on top of that of actually
5
studying
years
how
at
to be a
school,
mechanic.
and then Dakars from 2010.
And you started straight away, what, 16, 17?
I started school, like I left home, I was like 14.
What?
14 or 15.
It's like a fantasy novel. What do you mean you left 14? with your backpack and your three-piece shorts and
exactly, and my baguette.
In your baguette.
But no, school was quite far from home, so I had to leave. Like I was leaving on Monday mornings early, and I was away for the week, and eventually got back on the weekends. And so I spent 4 years there in that small village to learn mechanic.
Which village?
Gray. It's in not far from Besançon.
The least French name you can think of.
Gray.
Just Gray.
Wait, where is it in France? Not I would know.
It is near Vesoul. No, you don't know.
No.
East of France.
East of France. Okay.
Okay, so with all that, now you understand his like expertise in the field, right?
Yeah, and for me, the important thing is for me to understand why would people do this, and I think I do. Actually.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
You can step off the podcast.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done for the evening.
Okay, so the first year, imagine Benji spent, let's say, close to 2 years. I was like along for the ride with him a lot of helping out, trying to get things together, help out where I could, and as
a
much
lot
as
of
designs, putting sponsorship proposals together and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Why didn't I have an involvement in this?
Huh?
I didn't know either of you.
I should have called you. Now. I know you're interested. Next year, Dakar 2020. Here we go.
I don't know how, but what could what could I even contribute to something like
a
that?
lot. There is.
All right, actually, I've got some stuff to do now.
You wouldn't believe how much you can contribute.
No, I can.
Yeah,
specifically
100%.
with my limited skill set.
Definitely, you can. There is so much help that's needed constantly to
really,
get there.
That's crazy.
The thing is, to be very honest, that's a year-long job. Like
use this podcast as a platform. Name several jobs you would like people to reach out to.
At least you can hold him accountable. You can say, Issa, sign this paper now verbally.
and I mean, why not? Why don't you let the world know? Have you tried online ways of getting the help you need?
Not really though, but
you don't want
I know.
to. Because you want to.
You don't like to annoy people so much, and I've got good friends which I can annoy
and rely on,
and I cannot really rely on them all the time,
but you can annoy them until you can.
But yeah, they're really cool with me, and I have to be really grateful for everybody I've got around me, because everybody supports me in all my crazy stuff I'm trying to do. So
it's a lot to support as well.
Yeah, I'm always have some. I always have some ideas. I always want to give a lot to my sponsors back. So I don't know. I always want to do something. When I go back home, now I leave in next Wednesday, and I want to spend time with sponsors. I gotta go to an event, and then I gotta do some promotion for them, and then I'll bring the bike to a show, and then do.
But this sounds like you want. This sounds like not only do you feel obligated, it sounds like you want to.
Yeah,
which is good.
I went 2 years on Dakar just because of them.
Yeah.
So without them, I won't go anywhere.
Exactly.
I would stay home and work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's respectable.
That's the minimum thing I can. Nobody else for me to do it, but I feel like I have to do it because, just.
And also you have
basic decency almost.
I mean, we talk about
when I do things, people are like, "Oh, wow, it's really cool." I'm like, yeah.
It's the least I can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about, we talked about finance side a lot, but it is literally you're getting a sports car every year that you don't use. You go and torture yourself for the value of a sports car.
But it sounds like I think the value, if we go by value systems, there's more, not more. There's a difference, and it's just different values. So doing something like that for me, I
is human
exactly. I don't
adventure.
Exactly. It's all the value. You drive, you enjoy your sports car, you flirt while driving it. This one you feel alive.
You go to Dakar and you finish it, and that is something you can't buy. Getting a finisher's trophy or finisher's medal, and winning it, you can't buy those things. They are so much work.
You really can't.
You can't. And it's really a different getting that and finishing. Okay,
you can buy the medal, but it won't mean anything.
You cannot even come. You couldn't buy the medal. I mean, you could.
You know what I mean?
Probably if you give €1 million to Benji, would give you one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You could buy a medal.
You didn't earn it. You didn't go through
exactly.
it and get it the way that you should. And it's a lot to get that. Financially one thing, and then
let's do scandals. Let's talk about cheaters.
First, let's cover something. First year, we'll get into that. No, first year you went to Dakar, right? There was a lot of preparation. What day was it? So the first year you didn't finish Dakar.
Okay,
this is something we haven't talked about.
Accident?
Yeah,
not accident. Probably a lot of accidents before the big.
Happy. No, to be honest, I didn't crash. I don't think I crashed first year.
Wait, wouldn't you remember?
There's a lot of small...
falling down, you're going to sand dunes and you're 0 km/h and the bike falls down. I don't call it a crash, though.
I wouldn't say it's a crash because, you were not moving.
So you can't remember all of those.
Yeah, so, this year, I think I had, maybe 5 of them, dropping the bike. We've seen them on GoPros.
What happens with the dropping with the bike? That's just tires?
Just no, but the front end digs in when you cross a dune or you've seen in the videos there were super steep dunes and you try to climb up.
Nature happens.
And just
nature happens. It sounds like nature happens.
Well, that's the thing about Dakar. Nature happens a lot. There's
and
so
even
many
to the pro riders. So when it happens,
I mean, you don't consider yourself pro at this point?
I know.
And when we say, why wouldn't you be pro? Because you don't have.
Because I'm not paid for that, and I've got a
that's
job,
what makes it pro. Okay.
And
there's one
I
category.
need to train on top of work.
Work is the work, and then there's this. This is a separate.
So
project.
that's private and pro.
Wait, I didn't understand just now what you said about work.
So he has a job.
Yes,
that's work.
A day job.
Pro is your
Your day job
work.
is
Yeah.
training
Yeah.
to
And
race
there's
Dakar.
There's a category like Benji
That
this year
sounds
did.
crazy.
Benji this year did really, really well
For a privateer.
Really well.
But
the pro is the category above that, which is
and it's a whole
your
complete category. You don't.
No.
It's just
Like the
You race the same.
bracket.
You race
Yeah.
the same
The
thing.
bracket
Yeah.
you would say above that, which is like you're paid your salary every month to go and win. Like that's what they expect.
No,
of you.
for sure. But this is a hypothetical bracket, or it's a physical registration
no.
paper bracket type thing?
No. Like, basically, I still have to find sponsors to finance all my stuff. These guys, they get paid, and everything is paid for them.
Yeah.
It's a
understand.
bracket that's not really, it's there, but
It's on
not.
paper, but it's there because
You can
just
call
resources.
them factory riders.
Yeah.
Like the factory riders are paid a
By the
salary
brands,
for the
like
brands
by the teams.
from the brands specifically to go and race.
Has a privateer ever won?
Maybe back in the days, but it's
Definitely
been
not recently.
maybe what 20 at least.
Has
20,
a
30
privateer come
you're
close?
thinking of the Rocky story right now, right? You're thinking of like the underdog
No,
paying his way.
not necessarily. I'm more curious about what. I can imagine that someone with the best, or riders with the best support and just money behind them, money
Yeah,
and
but
time.
That's the thing. Like, you need to be in a really good team as well, with a really good bike and being really good. Like, it's a combo that you can't buy as a privateer.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
I understand.
to win, the stars have to align, basically. Like, you have to have... Benji says he doesn't
But
believe
look,
in the luck side.
I don't really agree with you. Like, look at Toby this year. He won Dakar with a broken wrist from
But
the
the
start.
stars align for him, for sure.
With a
Like,
broken
yeah, but like-
wrist?
He crashed in early December.
What
And
does
you-
a broken
okay.
wrist even feel like?
He raced the
it's
whole...
really
He
You've had
raced...
it? You've had
I
it?
never had it. Like, I didn't break many bones in my.
I broke
That's
a bone
good.
in my wrist before, but I sure as shit didn't race for
scaphoid.
2 weeks with it, for sure.
The scaphoid.
Yeah.
Just
But
saying
small
broken
fracture
wrist makes
and-
me feel like I have a broken
But
one.
small fracture, and I didn't race for 2 weeks and win Dakar, which is what Toby did this year.
I like the
And
name Toby.
You say that the stars didn't align for him this year.
I mean, yeah, like he started with really shit
not to
condition,
not to
though.
like devalue his skill or what he's done or anything at all. Like, I think he's really good rider. Everything as a package obviously worked really well, and he was meant to win. But it's not luck. Let's not say it's luck, but it's the stars have to align. Like,
And
think about-
this Toby fellow, who does he ride for? Who's he sponsored by?
with KTM Red Bull. Like,
something else interesting about KTM, they've now won how many years in a row?
is it 18 now?
18, 19.
So that would
Dakars
be
in a
would
row.
that be a testament to their bikes?
Everything.
Team riders and bike. Yeah.
But majorly, if you had to choose one, because their name
I
is
would
KTM,
say
right?
Bike.
Really?
I would
okay,
assume it would
yeah.
be bikes.
I mean, there was a guy this year, Ricky Brabeck,
He was leading Honda.
I wouldn't say he had it wrapped up, but it was as close as you would want to be as wrapping
Second
up.
to last stage.
Yeah. And his lead was sufficient.
Yeah. He was
what
gonna win.
happened?
Bike went.
Like, we were like, he was
Yeah.
gonna win.
It's bad to
I
laugh.
no, I'm laughing because it's funny because you were
It's
like
fun.
bike
Like,
went.
The bike broke.
Yeah,
like, what can you do?
I feel bad for him, to be honest. Like,
And wait, KTM is Dutch?
no, it's Austrian.
That's not an
Austrian.
Austrian. That's not KTM. That was a Honda.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So, and Honda
But
put
Rick
in,
is an
Austrian.
American. He's cool dude. And yeah, he was gonna go for the win, and
he
had
had
a
it in the
really-
bag, let's say. But
50 k's in. That's the day I changed my engine, by the way. And 50 k's in the bike, like I saw the HRC Honda stopped on the side of the track and all that.
which the other crazy
Okay.
part we talked before about not being able to buy the trophy, not being able to buy wins or
The
finishes
medal.
or anything. Honda as a corporation are insanely big. Like, they go from the car side, from the motorcycle side, scooter side. They are, I would say,
yeah, big.
50 times bigger than KTM, 100 times bigger than KTM.
When
Like,
would
maybe more.
I can't
Like,
say
it's
because
insane.
I
Like,
have no idea, but
no,
I know
but
it's really huge.
as a size of a corporation is insane.
as a corporation, but their bike department?
Well, that's the thing. They put in more money by a long, long, long way than any other manufacturer. And I mean,
Most of the bikes they're selling are the delivery bikes that you see in the street.
Yeah, I figured. And also, I would assume like tuk-tuk bikes in
Just
in
everything:
Asia and stuff.
cars,
Yeah.
motorcycles, scooters,
So in terms of
delivery
bikes, I was talking
and the
about bikes.
racing. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, so the most bikes they sell is the delivery bikes, you would say, right?
Yeah.
But the amount of money that goes into the racing department also is astronomical compared to the other brands.
Okay, so you say racing. I think, or I would have said racing bikes. All of them, they're kind of similar. They all work the same. But I
2 wheels,
assume
an
exactly
engine.
2 wheels and an engine bike. But I would
understand.
assume they're not the same. Not
No,
really.
they're not. Like,
What
You-
is it? The engine and the
No,
tires?
everything.
Is it the control
It's-
system?
You know, the weird thing is, right? With
Like,
Do you have like a
different
front
kind
wheel
of-
drive, rear wheel drive?
Do you
Are they
mean
all
kind of racing or like road races, off-road races, Dakar?
all
no,
of that?
cross.
See, all of it because
okay, so what I think he's saying is across the board, KTM to Honda to whatever bike you can ride in Dakar
So,
should be
yeah.
more or less the same. In your eyes, everything on the bike, I mean, to look at the bike, see how it works, see how it functions, is exactly the same. It's nothing as drastic as
wait,
front-wheel
okay, so
drive,
wait,
rear-wheel
so
drive.
Dakar bikes are enduro bikes? No,
They are rally bikes.
what's an enduro bike?
So an enduro,
And yeah, it's completely different. But it would look the same in your eyes, but
Yeah,
it is no,
it's a
but
lot
yeah,
different.
for sure. Like an enduro bike is made for like daily rides with
For daily.
like you can go race enduro. Is not what I'm saying. You can race different kind of enduro, extreme enduros, like GPs, which are different kind of racing. But it's
The-
like one day events with some refuelings and like small fuel tank capacities and light bikes. You
They're
don't need
light.
navigation,
Okay.
nothing. It's just like you
Oh,
go
and
through
these
the
Dakar
track.
bikes. Oh, so you're saying they look
the
alike?
The
but
two big things about the Dakar bikes is one, the fuel capacity is insane. Like you have huge,
35 liters of fuel.
which
on
is
your
big.
bike.
It's
Instead
a
of-
lot.
so it looks
7.
different. It would look
Looks
different.
way different.
Instead of 7 or 8 for an enduro
Yeah.
bike.
There's a huge amount of fuel capacity on it.
Yeah, they
Um,
should call the Dakar bikes enduro bikes because it sounds like endurance. That's why I've never like I
But
think I've
rally
read
raid is like a name for like endurance
Yeah,
races.
I
I would say.
suppose.
rally
It's weird. It's a specific thing because there's also not really. It is rally,
and the
but
kind of racing you did. What kind of bikes were those?
motocross bikes.
And how different are those
Yeah,
from
but you
enduro
race
bikes?
Bajas with it, which is kind of desert races.
So yeah, it gets complicated. So I did.
So it is a bit nuanced.
Yeah,
It's-
it is. It is.
is,
It
okay.
is. It is tricky to explain.
Yeah, it's hard.
Like
So I did long distance Baja races, which is not long distance compared to the Dakar whatsoever. Like it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours compared to 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's really not. So we have motocross bikes with a little bit like topping the fuel up a little bit
yeah,
more.
but it's really rough as well. Like I've raced these races.
It's
and
tough. It's,
also
a different
really
kind
rough.
of tough. It's medium endurance. It's like 3 hours endurance, not like
But flat
every
out.
day.
Where's the fun in riding for you two separately together? Is there? Okay, I'll ask you each. Where is the
You
fun
won't like
for
my
you?
answer anymore.
I'm still curious. Where's the fun for you, and where's the fun for you in
Go for it,
riding?
Ollie.
And then I
For
want to
me
see
now,
where.
there's no
No,
fun
there's no
anymore.
Not now. Like
What do you mean there
3
isn't
years
fun?
ago.
Now there's
Because you don't do it. You mean?
3
no,
years
not
ago.
even. Okay, 3 years ago is a different story. For me, it's weird though. For me, it's a lot different than the stage that Benji is at now. That's an important difference. The stage Benji at now is probably I don't know where I was mentally 3 years ago. You'd say, like I was in the deep end. Wake up, bikes. Go to sleep, bikes. Eat.
It's like a rap
You
song.
eat around
Bikes.
bikes. Yeah, everything is like to do
Bikes.
with that. Yeah, which is not really where I'm at now with it at all.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy that much riding
So-
bikes now.
So the fun for you is watching, I would assume.
Now? Or
If
then?
yeah, no.
Now watching definitely. Like
Okay.
watching good races, I enjoy a lot now. Still, I'm still like invested into watching professional races
That's-
a lot.
yeah.
I still follow along with it for sure.
How about you, Benji?
For me, it's more about the challenge itself. About like you have to like. I've started riding. I was around 20 years old. So for me, it's already a challenge to start riding that old, because I was learning by watching.
So okay.
And we've had like very different riding tracks basically. Like I started,
Paths, yeah.
I started super young, and was
Like most of the guys.
yeah, and I was really, really intense into it when I was like 13, 14, like super intense. That's all I wanted to do. I'd finish school, just get through the day to be able to go ride or whatever. And that was it.
And I was cycling when I was a kid.
Yeah.
This
And
sounds like an
Benji's
alien world. I used to read books. All I did was like I couldn't wait to go home to read my
So
books.
this is the thing. Me and Issa went to school together with very different things in our minds during the day in school. Like Issa was
Completely
like, I want to
different
go home
worlds.
and study. I was like, I want to go around.
No, I didn't want to go home and
When
study.
were you guys
study.
at school together? How old were you?
16, 17? 17, 18?
18-ish.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
High school,
Interesting.
college, like
Yeah.
whatever you call it. Sixth form.
Go home and study.
That was Issa's.
That's what you thought it was.
But this is also really interesting because
Were you partying but then?
Oh, he was
in the
definitely
days?
partying. He didn't invite me.
No, but like, because I grew up like 14 years old. We were organizing parties already with friends. But I know he is quite different.
No,
for,
definitely we did. We
Oh,
had,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
We
here.
so when we were
With
growing up
alcohol and
here, we
stuff.
had. I shouldn't say it
Underage-
because this is going to go on the internet. but-
Underage drinking is a thing in Dubai.
oh, it was
Yeah,
huge. No,
okay.
but I'm not sure.
It's a thing.
So you
but-
didn't do.
Oh, I was a good girl.
But back in the day, we like every weekend we'd have. I shouldn't say it. I'm gonna say.
I shouldn't say
We
it.
had like police come and break up parties constantly when we were kids. Every weekend that would be
All right.
what happened.
I'm sure that still
Fair enough.
happens.
Benji buffs up a bit. Okay, next topic.
No, we're good.
No,
Fair
we
enough.
had like huge parties when we were kids here, for sure. I think a lot of the time it was parents went away and there was like a code, like whose ever parents went away, your house was going to get used for that weekend.
All right.
It's basically a teen movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
yeah,
cool. I like
you-
it, like American style.
Exactly.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have red cups, red solo cups?
Yeah.
Really?
No, we didn't. I saw them in America for the first time. I was like, wow, they're real.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
actually
me
get
too.
red
I
cups.
remember clearly the first time I went to a party in America and there was a red cup. I was like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, I've
I
seen
was
those
like-
in the movie. They
I've
have
only
those.
seen them in movies.
Yeah. I thought exactly the same. Okay, there's a couple of things I wanted to go over.
Go on.
Firstly, first year you went to Dakar.
Yeah.
What day was it that the bike went?
Day 8.
And
So you got far in, actually.
Day
yeah.
8 and then after that, khalas.
Khalas.
Yeah.
Because
I went in
of the policy.
helicopter. Yeah. Yeah, like I tried to fix the bike. Like you can imagine, like knowing how to fix a bike and stuff. Like I started disassemble the bike and
With the
yeah,
sand around you, the rain.
yeah, like I've got I've got
dogs
some pictures
coming.
about it, and we've got everything on TV as well. So that was, in the end, like that was really bad, but that was really cool to have all the footage around as well. Like it makes it like a sad story, even like for live TV. And I didn't want it to be like a TV show, but in the end, that was really cool. Like people were pretty much crying around the world, to be honest. And that was really touching to get all the messages I received after that. That was
So,
really
but you
crazy.
can imagine, right? Like after a year and a half, 2 years plus,
preparation.
how many years?
I
8 years,
see,
or whatever
I
we
see.
said before, of being a mechanic. This is the worst part. Being a mechanic to be able to get to the race. Then the bike breaks, and what can you do? There's nothing you can do. You don't have parts in the middle of the desert. You were joking, like dogs were running up, sand spraying around. That's how it is, almost.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
it's-
imagining it. That's how I was imagining it.
It is like that.
I was
Like,
Sweating and panicking and
Yeah.
you're trying to get things to work.
The one
and-
thing I didn't do was panicking.
That's amazing.
but aside
which-
from that, I mean, you take off all your gear, you put everything aside in a way. or whatever.
Were you angry?
I was
Like the angry that makes you cold and then I want to get this done now. I'm gonna
I was
like
like
this.
razor
This is-
focus.
This is what I wanted to ask you because I haven't actually asked you about this yet.
no.
So what happens with the bike breaks? You know it's gone.
I was
right?
like, it can't be. Like no.
like
Yeah.
actually
I'll get it.
But okay, really, you're like that. Like you're like it's not broken. Something,
Yeah, like I know it's broken, but like I'll manage.
Yeah.
I'll make it. I'll
get
get it
make
back.
it.
Yeah.
And I was like hoping for like a local to come around and
with a spare 450 KTM engine.
no, come on. But like I was like maybe some guys are gonna come with a like 4x4 or something, like just because they see someone stuck there, and you know, like in many places you would see people coming around. But I was
Yeah.
like, for 2 hours nobody came in.
What were you hoping they would do if they saw you though?
Like, I would load the bike somewhere, like, or getting pulled, or I had ropes with me, so I could get pulled or something. But that was really deep sand as well, so it was really tricky
Wait,
to.
so it broke down. It was stuck. If they managed to help you, example, you would still continue on.
Like I
What
would
was-
have,
what was
I would
the-
have get maybe like not maybe, but for sure I would have get penalties about missing waypoints or whatever. But the only thing I wanted to get is my bike moving all the way to a road section somewhere where I could eventually get pulled by a car or something. And get some network on my phone.
And we're
'Cause I was
talking,
stuck in the middle
bear
of
in
nowhere
mind,
with no phone.
just so Isa has a reference for this, we're talking getting pulled hundreds of kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like 200-300 kilometers.
From here to Abu Dhabi
no
and
bike,
back.
why?
Huh?
No phone, why?
Because I was in the middle of nowhere and
There's no
network.
reception.
And,
Pas de
and I
réseau.
had a satellite phone and it didn't work.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
so
even if it works, I might just like to paint you a picture. You're in the middle of nowhere. You have to get out somehow.
I had one hope. That was the KTM, like not the KTM truck, but KTM had some parts in one of the race trucks, and I was just hoping that the truck would eventually come on the same track, and I could have get some
flag
parts
them
from
down and
Yeah.
what do you have? Food rations, water? How does it work?
Like every day, like I prepared some food for me to carry with me, so I had water and
It's
food.
like a backpack, or how did you carry
Like
it
we've
on
got rally jackets where you have got many pockets. Like it's pretty well made, and you've got a water pack in the back, like 3
you?
liters
And
of
so
water.
you just sweat through these clothes, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I want to understand how it is. Like it's would you say it's like, I was gonna say hellish, but it's like it's a challenge. It sounds like such a challenge, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Like you're there in this thing that's covering you for protection, and there's actually the weather as well. Then you don't worry about eating, about
it's
drinking.
worse than that. It's not even that. It's how many altitude in
Altitude?
That year was really crazy as well.
I mean, it's
What
like
do you mean?
we went to 4,800 meters high.
How? What?
how
Like you
what,
can't
why?
breathe.
Yeah, but how?
You can't
Like
it's
you
like-
you went up the summit with a bike, or they brought it up?
Eventually, you ride up.
We started.
Oh, the steep,
like in the
of-
mountains and
You're up
hills.
4,000 meters, 3,000 meters constantly. You can't breathe.
So it was kind of cold. It was at least
not really
crispy,
cold, to be
crispy
honest.
air.
But it's just about like you can't breathe.
You can't breathe.
You can't
The
breathe.
air
The
is
bike
thin.
has no
you
power.
have to manage your effort, because you have to know something. When you make an effort and you're that high, your oxygen level is really low.
Low, yeah.
So any effort you make, your heart rate will just go crazy trying to breathe and give oxygen
And
to your
this
muscles.
system-
we're talking about like, I mean, you can do that in 30 minutes. You could do it in an hour at
Do what?
4,000. Like get tired, use
That was
all
like
your
3-4
energy.
days without going down to 2,500.
So you stay up at 3,400.
So I need to understand this. So you're saying 3 to 4 days you're staying up, and when do you go back to the camp?
We like the camps were some days stuck in more than 2,000 meters.
So how? So okay. I really still have there been I'm really actually interested. Are there like documentaries on this now?
Not
like,
enough.
So like example, now you're in this mountain top,
In the
4.8
Andes.
kilometers up, 4.8 right kilometers.
We were like
Wait, is that right?
4,800 meters
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, so 4 kilometers. You ride your 5 hours for the day, for example, and then you leave the bike there and go to the camp.
No, you're there.
No.
You're up.
You're
in
always
the
with your
mountains.
So you're riding for 5 hours, sleep the next 15.
No, 3
we had
hours.
that
plus
road
5
sections
hours.
we were talking
Yeah,
about.
road
Wait,
section plus race 5 hours plus the road section.
Go
then
on. What's this road section? What's this?
that, you know the liaison we were talking
Liaisons.
about, getting to the start of the stage
Non-timed
section.
sections, yeah.
You have to basically, like we were saying before, ride to Abu Dhabi, ride back, then you start the race. Then you get to start the desert section. That's the bit on the road. Then you finish the desert section of how long? 3,000.
I see. So there's some designated wild areas, basically.
No, but the road section's not the race. That's
That's what I'm
just
saying.
to
No,
get there.
that's what I'm saying. So there's road sections that are not counted, or not
Yeah,
timed.
yeah.
You go to
Basically,
the
they
beginning
give
of a
you-
wild section, do your wild section, and then
Yeah.
Wild is
Like
very
you,
cool.
you
No, but-
have to navigate through that wild section.
that's what I'm
by the
saying.
way.
No, because wild
Wait,
is wild. I
basically-
meant it like
basically,
wild.
the wild section that you call it, which is the stage,
That's
is
the
with
toughest.
basically with a scroll. That's what you have to
With the
navigate.
scroll.
You know, like an old school
Well,
scroll.
That's what I'm
Well-
saying. That's what I'm saying. Wild. I literally mean wild.
It is actually wild.
That's
You
what I
have-
mean.
You
It
have a
is, yeah.
scroll.
Like, literally using
It's
wild
called a
for a
road book.
reason.
So sorry, yeah, it's called a road book, which is it's a scroll. It is a
I
scroll.
know. I love
What?
how he's like, it's called a road book.
It's called a road book. Yeah, but it's basically a scroll with pictures and numbers on it that you have to coordinate with your distance.
Using the
And that's the only thing you have.
Like a grid.
No, but to be honest,
Pictures.
we use like a GPS which is linked to like a little screen, and it's pretty much like a
Nintendo. Nintendo.
yeah, Nintendo. You play with buttons and stuff. But yeah, it's like you use a compass to navigate as well.
It's amazing.
On top of your kind of road map, so that's a road book, but you've got
But-
some road indications.
But you
and-
don't have a lot of information. It's not like you have Google
it's
Maps.
it's
out
literally the wild. That's
there. It's a
see,
wild.
I was serious about the wild thing.
Yeah. So now next year, wild sections.
No, but it is. So
It is,
basically,
yeah.
I just wanted to understand the idea that it was like you ride, what do you call them, the liaisons,
Mhm.
and then you go start your wild
Race.
section.
Stage. Wild
Right.
section.
They should call it. Come on,
It's a wild
special
section.
stage. They call it special stage.
special stage.
Special wild stage.
Wait. So special stage versus.
Liaison.
Liaison.
But
Which
why
is-
is it a special stage and not just a stage?
That's timed race time.
I don't know.
Sorry, they
Oh,
just
okay,
call it
yeah,
special
I
stage.
see what you mean.
Okay. No,
I
no, I wonder if people have asked these questions. You know, like they're important.
Those
Yeah.
specifics
Not
are
sure.
not as important. There's so many questions I have before.
Go on,
why
ask
is
us.
it a special stage?
Why is it special? What makes it special?
Because it's not normal.
Fair enough. Yeah,
Wrapped up. Done.
Done.
Question answered.
wild stage.
Anything
Okay.
else?
Yeah, I have a few more.
Go on.
This year is okay. Before Benji went to Dakar, this is important. Just bear with me. We had a conversation in the car.
Before the first time.
No, before the second time.
Okay.
And I said to Benji, what happens if you finish Dakar? Because for him, the thing always was to finish. And the goal was not to go race, to go and finish, and that was the goal. And I think he was joking with me. But we were talking in the car, and I said, what happens when you go and finish this year? Oh, okay, don't say it, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, but seriously, what happens when you go and finish? Is that mission accomplished? You don't ride anymore. Benji said to me, at the time, maybe seriously, now probably not so much. No, I'm done after that. I'm not going to ride bikes. I'm done, mission accomplished.
And you really felt that way. You felt like once I finish this
Yeah,
one, if
but-
I finish this one,
And he
Like,
he finished
you
this
have
year.
to know the relationship we have with Ollie is like always giving shit to each other as well. But to be honest, I was like, he knows all the effort that was to set everything together, and you always have that feeling like, yeah, once I've done that, no more. Like,
And
so
before-
much
yeah,
effort.
why put yourself through it again? And now you've accomplished what you want to accomplish.
Exactly. Like, you're like,
But before this year, so this year, 2019, he finished the race.
Mm-hmm.
Before this year
Congrats.
was over 3 years, I would say, of prepping specifically to go and race himself, and the 7 years before that. So in total, it was 10 years to go and be able to finish. But apparently, he's not done.
You're preparing for your next one, I'm assuming. I could tell already from your look.
yeah.
Yeah. And when is this one for? Next year? This
Yeah,
year?
next year.
This is
Actually,
this is the next
that's-
thing.
It's
that's-
a nice number, 2020. Dakar
Yeah.
2020.
and that's a new chapter as well for the Dakar history. Like, it's gonna move to the Middle East.
Yeah, wait, the Saudi thing, right?
Exactly.
And it's confirmed, it's
a big
done,
thing,
it's happening.
Yeah. Now it's for sure happening there, and that's
At
gonna
least-
be
at
crazy
least-
rally.
Will it is there any advantage to you that it's actually in the region you've been living in the past few
I think
years?
for everybody around the region is better. Like even for Europeans, because it's 6 hours flight. It's pretty close to everywhere in Europe.
It's really the closeness
It's
helps.
convenient.
It's a bit just convenience. There's
like
nothing
it.
extra.
Yeah,
But-
like,
But
to go in South America, it's just like 12
It's-
hours flight, and then
It's a
It's a
hassle.
lot.
And also move. You have
But,
to
okay.
fly your bikes, right?
yeah,
to paint a picture for it, in reality, the difference of being able to fly, what is an hour flight from here to Saudi or whatever,
Yeah.
that in comparison to how much of a drastic change this is nothing. Like,
What do you mean?
the difference of going to South America than going to Saudi for a race is already, like, personally, I think we don't know. We're like,
Well,
this
we
is
don't
the
know.
this is the problem at the moment. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of people with misconceived ideas about what
The region
it's gonna be
is,
like,
and
what the
yeah,
region is as well. There's so many. In the end of the day, which we've talked about between us, I mean, between the friends and stuff, we've talked a lot about, like, joking, not mixing politics and a motorcycle race, because all it is at the end of the day is a motorcycle and a
Yeah,
car
but see,
race.
for me, as someone who's outside to this, and as someone who's lived in the region, I think it's really a delicate balance, because Dakar's name would want to maintain the integrity of their brand, right? They'll say, but of course, it's fine to expand to a new continent and a new region. There's no reason not to.
The thing is, they
But-
have already. They moved from Africa to South America for safety reasons at one point. So they went from
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
this is in their brand to do it again.
that
No big
side
deal.
is not as much of a jump. Yeah.
But there's also some people who would argue, not the naive people. There's people who are naive who don't know, or not naive. Sorry, there's people who with, like you said, misguided misconceptions of the region. They won't understand, and they will never understand till they try. That's on them. It's not on the region. But there's also naive people who think that the region is gonna be easy to bring Dakar into, and it might not be.
That's interesting.
Because it's the fact, it's not that easy to suddenly
I mean, to be
go
honest,
to a country.
Financially, I think that the main thing is like it's been really like open about but Saudi's gonna bring Dakar, follow the money and everything. So for sure, like
Follow the money.
yeah,
I mean,
like,
No, I know.
it
It is. It is.
you
Yeah,
have
it sounds
to be
like
realistic
it.
as
Yeah.
well. You have to be realistic that
you need
that-
money to organize such a race,
Of
and
course.
of
Yeah.
course Saudi came with much more budget than what other countries could
Yeah.
afford. And
They're ramping up
but
their
I don't
marketing.
think is. I mean, I really honestly think it's not the main reason. I think the terrain is just amazing in Saudi Arabia and in the region generally.
it's true. It is true.
I'm working on a lot of Saudi projects, and it is beautiful.
Before I get too pessimistic, there is a lot of benefits to it. One, it's no secret. This year was sold as 100% sand, 100% Peru, one country, which is not Dakar, really. They sold it as that. The marketing behind it was that it was a pure sand desert race in one country, pure Peru. But in reality, everyone knows that it's because the other countries didn't come through with the money that the organization needed to be able to have it there. But, I mean, now they're in one country again, in a completely different region, and the money
100%
side,
sand.
100% sand again.
Yeah,
in
it's
a
not going to
different
be
place.
100% sand.
No, it won't be.
It's going to
It
be a
won't
lot of
be.
mountains as well.
Yeah. No, it'll be a lot of different mix of stuff. But in reality, you know that the money has backed a lot of it, for sure. It's not a secret, but...
Probably.
Yeah.
But also, like, there are different choices, and I think in terms of terrain, because that's what the race director is really focused on.
Yeah.
I was gonna say politics
And-
aside.
I mean, yeah,
Politics aside,
terrain
there's
wise,
nothing.
The race side of it,
All good.
To some extent, it's probably
5 out of 5.
relatively safe as well.
Safe.
Yeah.
Safe.
Oh, is that good for viewers?
Safe is good.
It's good for. It's good for riders.
Safe politically talking,
politically. It's not safe terrain-wise. Safe.
In terms of
region-wise.
like, as we had before, like terrorism attacks and stuff like that back in
That's
Africa.
right. So
That's why
basically,
it moved from Africa.
Africa.
That's true.
The race.
I
started
just
when-
realized what you guys were saying. Okay.
So the problem is, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, it's a different race. If you have what we watch, said at the start, Supercross race in a closed stadium in California with 30,000 people
Sponsored
watching.
by Mountain Dew.
Sponsored by Monster Energy every time, is a different environment than going out by yourself with, people that live out in that's their life, living out in the middle of the desert. And if you go into some zones, they are hazardous zones for sure. Like the year that they moved from moved from Africa, They were actually going to start the race, and it was, I think, the day before, 2 days before the start of the race.
They
and
received
had,
a warning letter.
I mean, worse than that. They had people that were killed from the area, right?
I'm not sure about.
I think so, as far as I remember. And that's why they moved the next year from. Sorry, yeah,
Probably.
Why can't we talk about it?
We can, I guess, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I
think it's common knowledge.
It is what we don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know. Like,
I'm
really
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that I think there was 3 French journalists that were killed that year, and then the next year they moved. South America, for the most part, has been pretty safe, you'd say, and very, very well supported.
That's good.
Very well supported. Like,
yeah, the support from the public was just amazing. Like,
yeah,
arriving in
you couldn't ask
first
for
years in
anything more.
Argentina was crazy. Like, people on the side of the road, like, even as a mechanic, like, in your car you were waved by hundreds and hundreds of people. That was just crazy. Like, for
more like,
leaving Buenos Aires, were like maybe 50 k's on the highway. People were still there.
You know what I like about this so far is that, like, I've been talking, listening, and everything, and I haven't thought of this as a sport yet, and I think that's cool.
It's
I don't
funny
know.
you say that. It's
I
funny
think
you
that's
say
cool.
it because
Obviously it's a competition and there's a challenge and everything, but I haven't thought of it as sport.
It's almost good that you said that because it's
Nah,
this.
I meant it as a good thing. I don't like sport.
Race. At the end of the day, like, it started off really not as a quote sport. It wasn't really. It was getting from Paris to Dakar as fast as you can. It was an adventure.
Like I wouldn't consider rock climbing.
Riding is a sport.
Dirt bike riding is different. Like what we were saying before, what I grew up doing is this is what it is. You're in these fixed confines, and it's very black and white. Dakar and adventure racing and stuff like that is not so much. It's a different game completely. Like it's the art of like learning how to ride a bike well and everything. That maybe is also
and maintaining it as well while you're riding it and knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not so much though. It's like there's more to it than just like, okay, this is a sport that you do, rally racing. There's so much more that goes into it. It's what I was going to say before. I asked Benji a while ago what he thinks was more difficult, whether it was getting through the whole race and saying you finished or getting to the race itself. And you'd say it was harder getting there, right?
Yeah, like in the end, harder you train, easier you race. That's true. So in terms
preparation is everything, right? Like in most things.
Yeah. Like that's true for the physical point of view, but it's also true, like you said, like it's really harder to get to the race because of all that, like preparation and also the financial.
How important is physical conditioning? I would imagine you can't be like overweight.
I mean, the weight is not a big issue. Like, of course, can't be fat, but
yeah.
I mean, you can.
I mean, saying this, no disrespect to Toby, but he's not. You wouldn't look at him and say he's a super athlete.
No.
Like he's big. He's a big guy.
I mean,
like
even some other guys were not that fit.
But he won
the
this
race.
year, and this year compared to like you.
I mean, that's the thing.
Right?
When I said physical conditioning, I meant what is involved in what's needed.
You have to be really strong. Like
your muscles have to be developed, and we're talking about muscles that you develop over riding. Like actually, so like. Do people work out in the gym for this?
Yeah, like to be like I'll talk about myself because that's all I know.
Yes.
I've worked 6 months. Like every Dakar I've prepared, it's 6 months, 100% focus on that.
Just before the race.
From July to January, I'm like.
He's even underselling, I would say. Like he is a freak for it when it's going on.
Tell me. What's involved? What is your
freak?
What's your physical routine like? What's your diet like?
I used to think
I've got programs 6 days a week.
But he's saying this. In reality, when I used to train, I'd go on the bicycle, I'd go for like an hour hard and then sweat as much as I could, pack up, and I was done. If Benji has in his program 4 hours of cycling, it's 4 hours of cycling. It's sitting there with a sore ass for 4 hours, and that's it.
So you really develop your cardiovascular system. That's what's
Yeah,
important.
like mainly endurance, like especially the
endurance.
first year.
Okay. Stamina.
I was really a lot on endurance. And last year I had a lot more fun. Like there was more about fun riding, and we worked on different levels as well. But I think all the endurance you built it before was also quite important. And I think it's still a long-term work. Like you have to work all year long to even like you've got 6 months really dedicated to it, but you have to build yourself all year long.
It's interesting because you would think that a 2 weeks, right? 2 week stint wouldn't require as much discipline because it's just 2 weeks. But probably when you're in that situation really, and you didn't have the 6 months, for example, like for you, that 2 weeks will be almost impossible. Within day 2, you might break down discipline-wise. You'd be like, fuck this, why am I doing
Since
it?
with what we don't know,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking of this now from your perspective. I mean, you're blank slate with this. You're like
Completely.
nutrition blank slate, training blank slate,
No,
everything across the board.
Yeah. What are
If you
what's
were
a bike?
to go there, yeah, exactly. Like, how do you start this motorcycle?
How do you start a motorcycle? Is it a button? Is it a key? Is it
Button
both?
now,
Yeah, we've got a button
Now we got
now.
a button. It's made
It
easier.
used to be a key. How long ago was it?
Not a key. Kick it.
Kickstart.
You have to kick the engine. though.
What do you mean you have to
This
kick
is not
it?
long ago, by the way.
What do you mean you
This
have
is
to
really
kick
not
it?
long ago.
Wait, like there's a stick, and you kick the stick.
Yeah, 100%. That's bang on
Yeah.
accurate.
You
Aluminium
kick a
stick.
stick.
Yeah,
Kickstart.
It doesn't break
Kick
the
stick.
stick.
aluminium or is
It
it?
happened.
A few times, not
Right.
regularly though.
And then so like the thing you kick becomes a spark plug, or like
Yeah, you kick the
Pretty
spark,
much.
right?
Yeah. And then it starts.
huh? Is there a
Instead of
radio? Do you have a
elect-
radio in your car? In your car, in your bike?
If
Wait.
I have a car, I would have a radio.
He's just on a different show at the moment. Completely.
No, I'm serious. Like, do you listen to? You don't want to listen to music while
Funny enough, yeah.
you listen to music. Yeah.
On the
Are you
road
serious?
sections.
Oh, okay, in road sections. I heard that somebody listened to music once. I gave it a go. Motocross track, disaster.
You can't. It's
Disaster.
distracting.
It did not work
distracting.
at all.
Did you?
Yeah, I tried it once. Horrible.
Like you
Worst
saw a
time it-
cool guy in America. I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
pretty
listen to
much.
me.
So rock
Like
time
the
trying to do
ski or
it.
snowboard riders, they're like,
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
snowboarders look so cool.
cool.
They look so cool.
I think they don't even have music in there.
Man,
Just for sure.
yeah, just to make their ears from going
Just
red,
look
you
cool.
know?
I think the specifics of the funny thing is, right, this is where you get into what you're allowed to have, what you do have, like the normalities of stuff. Like I was talking to Benji about peeing the other time, and in Tour de France and stuff, you sometimes you see the guys pee and you think they stop on the side and pee, right? You
Yeah.
think it's a normal thing,
But
like,
you would lose time, no?
you lose time or you have to catch back up. Or whatever.
Yeah, but like most of the time, like they ride slower than what they can ride.
Just pee on
Yeah.
yourself.
So there's
on a bicycle, I don't think they would.
But there is thought behind this. Like you were saying, in Dakar, people do that, right? You pee on yourself, or you have
Yeah.
like a nozzle.
There is like 3 schools for that.
Like 3 thoughts, you mean? Schools of thought?
3 different. No, that
Techniques.
was 3 techniques. Like,
Okay.
Techniques.
like
You
Either-
don't stop. Oh, that's one, I guess.
like there is one. Like you stop, you pee, you go. Actually, there are 4 style. Then what I tried this year, you have speed zones where you're like speed limit to 30 km an hour. So you're like, okay, I put a pen down and I pee while I'm riding 30 km an
That
hour.
is insane.
It's illegal. You're gonna get caught.
Yeah, if you do that, some of the countries maybe it will be legal.
Maybe not in Saudi Arabia. You can't do that. You're gonna have to change your tactic next year.
All right, so the next one.
That was the technique you used.
Yeah.
That sounds so cool.
You like that?
I can't imagine it.
Speed zone,
but-
so the speed zone is 30 kilometers max limit. That you
So
have to go
okay,
through.
you pee a little bit on yourself and a little bit on the bike, but in the end, it's better than peeing yourself.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
some
where you would
people
lose-
pee themselves.
Yeah, so that's one of the techniques. So you
That's
just
number
pee on
3.
yourself.
Yeah.
Can I?
And-
Okay, wait. That's we've covered 3 of the 4 now, right?
What's
Yeah.
number 4?
So number 3 that you've just covered.
So you pee in yourself.
People literally think I need to pee. Fuck it, I'm gonna pee right now.
Yeah,
and
Are
then
you serious?
yeah.
yeah. Like the problem is like you drink so much. I mean, personally, I drink a lot, so I need to pee a lot. And
So the guy's
when
just
you're
like-
in altitude and you have some like minerals in your water and stuff to make you feel good and give good stuff to your muscles, then you need to pee a lot.
Electrolytes.
Kind of electrolytes, yeah. And nothing
Easy
illegal.
input.
But
and you literally think like, okay, I need to pee.
Yeah, like-
and you
Wait,
start
what's the
peeing.
fourth school?
Go on.
no, I want to finish with that one. Like, you just make sure, like, you do it when you know it's gonna go on one side and you're gonna breathe in your.
That's a rough game.
Wait, what's this?
you
What's
were-
this? What was this? Monster?
but like-
no, you have to you have to aim at one side
yeah.
and decide. Okay, left side's getting fucked today.
Because you don't want your boots to be filled as well.
And okay, can I point something
Boots
out, Zach?
to be filled.
Yeah, if you pee down the side, your pants are in your boots. Your boots would fill up.
So you want the pee to get out through your
Oh
pants.
my god! So I was imagining you were pissing into the air. You're telling
No.
me you're being civilized
You're-
and you're actually pissing down your leg.
You're peeing. Oh no, Benji's second technique was 30 zone. You'll max 30 kilometers an hour. Put your pants down and then pee out the side. The third school was
You just keep everything on and you just
go. And
as
can I
fast
point
as you
something
go,
out?
better it is.
Can I point something out, Zach?
Yeah.
You were thinking, I don't know, 45 minutes ago into this. Why would you do this race?
Yeah, I'm back
That
to
was a
it.
game changer.
I'm back to it again.
Piss your
I'm
pants. Why would you do this?
I'm back again to why
Yeah.
would you do this?
Yeah. Multiple
I
times
have
a day,
to be
pee
honest, the
yourself.
first time I've done it, I was like, well, I don't know how should I mean it's French.
Like,
Like
you get on with it.
you blocked a bit and then you're like, oh yeah, in the end, no, it's good.
Oh man.
What's
I
the
couldn't-
fourth? What's the fourth?
And the fourth one is like you've got kind of a condom on your
Easter's ears
penis.
perked up. What?
and then with a tube like I think it's a medical thing.
Yeah.
And you've got a tube
Catheter.
going down
Kind
yeah,
of.
catheter.
Well,
and
outside over.
yeah, and it goes all the way down your pant and then it goes in your boot and you just pee like on the side.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Number 4 is
That's
cool.
it.
But,
Cool.
I don't think I would be able to wear that thing on my
Yeah, because if you're
All
not
day?
careful, it bends into
Penis.
it goes in the hole. I would assume.
no, but it's
It's like a
It's outside.
I don't know.
It's-
And it will put.
I won't feel comfortable and
Yeah.
get infections and stuff. I would feel
Yeah. UTI.
It's a rough
Anyways.
game. It's a rough game.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like either you pee in a steady case speed zone or you pee in yourself.
Okay, can I
But if you got
propose a fifth
enough
option?
pants for next day.
You shit out of luck if you got one pair of pants. What about stopping?
Yeah, but then like stopping.
Oh, wait,
takes,
that was
like,
the fourth-
more
that was
than
the
a
first
ma-
option.
No, that's
no?
my fifth option. Stop, pee,
No, that
get
was the
back on-
first.
Oh,
That was the
really?
first, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. Be sorry.
I am sorry.
No, like you can't stop
Consider.
actually, but it takes a minute.
What
minute
about
and
the
a
fuel
half.
stops?
Yeah, UP has fuel stops as well, but it's not enough for me. Like I can't wait 200 k's to pee.
Whoa. 200 Ks. That's like saying I'll wait for the next petrol station to get McDonald's, and then
What
you're like,
petrol station? This petrol station in the middle of nowhere. Petrol station.
yeah.
You can't even drive 200. Yeah, you probably could,
Yeah.
but 200 km is a long way
Well,
to go.
has doing Dakar twice and being a mechanic and everything, has all of it changed your view of Earth?
Definitely.
Like what's changed, or how? I mean, I don't want to assume, but like, you think it's shit, or you appreciate it more, or what is like? What's your
I
take
think
on
it's
it?
just a life school as well. Like I've learned a lot in the last couple of years about myself, about people around, and yeah, I just think it's
think it's what?
I just think it's a good experience for life, and I've learned about what is good, what is not good, how to communicate, how to promote things, how to market yourself, to market your sponsors.
No, but I meant specifically about actual, like, the environment and like Earth itself, like, because I imagine you're going through all of these mountains and deserts and forests ever? Dakar? No. South America, I imagine forests, but I guess not.
Not so much.
It's really dust and mud.
Like mountains and dry mountains, muddy as well.
Muddy.
We had mud.
Yeah, mud. Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
like, does that change for you anything, or like, does riding Dakar have any environmental effects for you, in terms of like changing your opinion of it, or no?
I like these questions. This is good.
Because it feels like
okay.
it feels like
Aside from that, okay,
Like, we are really environmental cautious. Is that how you say? How you
Yeah.
say?
conscious. Yeah.
Yeah, like we really care. Like I do care about where I throw my rubbish. Like Indian,
No, I guess for
people
me
would
the
say,
way
like,
I was
you guys
imagining.
are, yeah, like emissions and whatever.
No,
but-
no, no, no. That's no. For me, I was
Okay.
imagining it more like if I was riding like this. Okay, and let's say I'm mentally prepared for the challenge and all of that, and I'm doing my 200 or 500 for the day kilometers. I don't know how much you do in a day.
1,200,
1,200 average.
the longest day. No,
Yeah.
longest day.
Okay. Let's say I
He
did
brushed
700.
off. Okay.
I don't know what that number makes
No,
no
no.
sense to me. But like, if I was doing this to this like
To me as
desert
well.
for a while, I don't know. I think I would really appreciate what I was seeing. I don't know. I think it would change because either you must love riding in nature. Otherwise,
I think for me, I think there's so much going on at the time.
that you don't have time to.
How can you appreciate it? You can
That's
think, okay,
interesting.
this looks awesome, but you have so much more going
So
on.
it's more human. It's really a human
I
experience.
took what-
human.
It's
yeah. For
human.
me, it's more human.
I took
than,
what you
Yeah.
said. I took what you said differently. I thought you meant, I guess, the whole experience as a whole, not going in.
Yeah, I think he did as
And-
well. Yeah,
and
but I was really wondering if it changed
like being
your
out in
perception
the
of
desert that much, or being out in
nature.
for
Yeah,
2 weeks or whatever.
yeah, being in
I-
nature, doing hard things.
I assumed you meant like going and finishing a goal like that,
Yeah,
like going through something that tough, finishing. Because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
this is the
for
funny
sure.
thing as well. This is also like a lot of people I think will set themselves a goal to do something and eventually accomplish it and then readjust the goals. It's not like
Yeah,
okay, I finished
but
my goal
you
of
would-
10 years.
isn't that what he's done now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I
yeah,
thought
but why
that's
don't I want to go again?
yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like, why? I thought you meant once you've accomplished a goal like that, which is difficult.
Very difficult.
Why, like,
On
do
a
you
scale-
adjust? Do you adjust, or do you look at things differently afterwards?
Yeah, that's that was one of the things I was asking.
Benji?
I just think nothing's impossible in life. Like
That's
whatever
yeah.
you think you would do, or I would like to do, or
Just-
I think I can't do it. But I would like to, but I can't do it. Like why?
Yeah, prepare and do it.
Yeah.
Just prepare and freaking do it.
So,
Like Yoda said, there is
would
no
have
try.
said- would have said, you've got everything to do it. Like, who was I? Like, do you know what I was before? My dad never rode the dirt bike before. My mom either. Nobody in my family wanted me to ride a bike. I was
So
riding bicycles.
yeah, so it was one of my early questions. Is like, rarely would you be into the whole biking thing if you weren't raised around it, and it sounds like you weren't raised around it.
I was not at all.
Yeah, so you got yourself into it yourself.
Yeah.
And
And
I would. Are you one of the rare people like that? Like in the biking community, in the
Yeah,
riding
probably.
community.
I would say I'm kind of proud of where I come from as well. Like, I didn't have my parents supporting me. Like, they didn't have the financial.
And it wasn't their thing. Full
yeah,
stop.
first of all, and they like I've always wanted to ride the bike, like when I was a kid or whatever. But I knew like where we're growing up, and like
I
they
see.
just didn't have enough like the financial how you call it
Capabilities.
to get me into riding, and I was
Yeah.
fine with it.
And
Like,
so
that
when
was
you
just
can
clear.
finally do it for yourself, you do it for yourself.
And yeah, exactly.
Which is
So,
amazing.
but it started like I started to be in the field like as a mechanic, and it got me the opportunity to ride some good bikes, and step by step, like getting it. So
okay, so next year is obviously already a big jump in Saudi.
Yeah.
But you finished it already. So what's the point? What are you going back for?
Or what challenges? Or what challenges are you expecting to like? What
So-
have you prepared for from last time, and what are you gonna like?
So for sure, if Dakar would stay in South America, that would have been like probably a different question.
Easier.
No, but
you've
like
done it.
maybe I would ask myself, maybe I won't go
I
next year,
see.
but I'll wait 1 more year. Like maybe take 1 year off, and but also like you're so happy about how it went this year, and you think like maybe it's gonna be easier to raise funds again, and but that's true because in the media's worked pretty good this year, and yeah, I think if I would like to go again, I think it's.
Are you
next year
close
I
to
would
your
go.
goal to raise the funds, or you already raised funds for
No, like
2020?
now I'm back to zero.
Starting
But-
again.
Yeah, starting from scratch. But
Yeah.
a lot of my previous sponsor wants to support
Very
me
good.
again.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll need a bit of it.
Yeah.
And also, like my first idea was to start it again in Dakar, but
Have
in
you
a different category.
have you considered Patreon? You know, this like these there are these like donate web to me websites, support me websites and stuff.
I like
It
this
adds up.
because
It
this
adds
is
up.
this is why we wanted to do this a little bit. East is coming from a completely different perspective on this, where it's like, just go fund me this. Like,
Yeah,
surely there's
but
enough
why
people-
not, right? Why not? Like people who are close to you who want to support
All
you.
right,
Every
so
10,
do-
20, $100 would
for
help.
for
that's-
85,000 euro.
It would
No,
help.
but it's with small amounts that you
That's
can
what I'm
raise
saying.
big amounts. So
That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree with you, and I thought about it, but I wanted a smart way to do it on my first year actually. That's what paid my first part of the entry fee. That was I decided to sell wine to finance my stuff. So I had a wine from South America with a Dakar logo with my name on it as a Dakar competitor, and I was like, all right, my goal is to sell 3,000 bottles of wine.
We
And
drank 1,000. of
How-
them.
Yeah,
How
actually,
French.
The other two,
Super French. I love
was
it.
pretty much like
Yeah.
I bought the bottle for like €3.50, and I was selling it for €7. So I had a good deal to buy it, and I was still cheap enough to sell it for everybody to
Yeah.
be happy to buy it, and I was not ripping people off.
Yeah.
So out of 3,000 bottles, that was like around €8,000 profit, because I gave some bottle away and stuff. But that was around €8,000, and for my first year, that was
That's
huge
a good
part of it.
amount. It's a good chunk.
So that was pretty cool, and that's the way people could help me. Like, they would buy a couple of bottles or a box, or
Yeah.
So that was. I didn't want to just ask money and not giving anything back.
Yeah, I understand that.
Patreon for wine.
But you can do like yeah.
And I've sold wine worldwide.
I'll buy your next bottle.
Just
It's
not
difficult
this
in the
year.
middle.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
will be Melot. Melot.
Yeah.
Melot.
Yeah. No,
That's
but
actually the
yeah,
brand
that's,
for next year.
Melot.
Okay, to wrap up. Next year, we haven't covered it a whole lot, but it's obviously a different game next year.
How come?
It's a different game in Saudi. This year, Benji tells me after most of the days, not as a recovery so much, as a get through the day thing. You'll have a beer, you wind down,
A bit more relaxed.
a bit more relaxed. There's no more of this.
That's good. You're a bit more
So-
experienced now. A bit more. You're experienced.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
riding one of them makes you experienced.
But I
no?
think this is a different way of looking at it. But I think for an event this big as well, going Saudi is
It's
it
a
has,
big thing.
it has to go one way or another, because I don't think they've had anything near this big for the amount of people coming in for the
Yeah.
race. And I mean, it's huge. We're
For
talking.
Dakar 100% undoubtedly is the Formula One of
I think it's bigger than that.
of riding. I mean,
A lot
It
bigger.
is in terms of people on spot. Just for the race, we are like a small village of 3,000 to 4,000 people.
that's crazy.
I mean, that's.
I never did
that's-
ask how many
that's-
riders usually
I
on
mean-
average ride.
No, it's riders and
groups.
staff, like crews.
But I mean, as
How many
as a-
teams usually?
one car team, like one factory car team, is around 100 people, 110 people.
I mean, there's this bivouac that moves around with the race, travels together through the
caravan?
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
They
as
have
a-
like
as a
2 or
group,
3 camps like 3 wall
Small,
setup, and
a
they
town
will-
that moves together.
Yeah.
It's 3,000-4,000 people moving. Spectator-wise, I mean, in South America, it's tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, that was-
that as you go along.
think it's-
like in the villages.
through Dakar is around 4 million. Is it 4 or 5 million?
And a lot of people travel for it. So in Saudi, it's going to be interesting next year with. I mean, no
Yeah.
one knows. It's
Yeah, like,
it's
first
all
question-
No, it's almost you don't know what to
My
expect,
dad called me,
which
the
is
other day.
exciting.
My dad called me. Well, I spoke with one of my friend, and we're talking about eventually coming for a start or something in Saudi. I'm like, well, Dad, wait a second. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure about
The visa.
visa.
Everything.
I think
they will make things easier.
Yes.
That's what
I
I
think
think.
they
this-
will, 100%.
This is what I think about it, right? So you assume they will, right? But not something has to give, but there's got to be someone's got to give. Either they have to accommodate, which I assume is going to happen,
they will.
or they have to bend to the rules of what they expect, which
I think they're gonna introduce e-visas and stuff.
but this is huge, right? This is
Yeah.
like for Saudi Arabia, that's never happened. This
Yeah.
is a first. And coincidentally, it's with Dakar, but it's massive. Like it's a
But
big,
that was
big
that was
jump for them.
like how you call it, the political questions were like, first of all, Saudi, the country wanted to get Dakar.
Yeah.
To show that they want to
Well, it's not
extend.
far off. I mean, it's 6 months give or take away.
When is
And
Dakar? Is it always the
January.
same month? Always January.
Always in January, just after New Year's.
Yeah.
And we've heard for a long time about Saudi going towards more progressive 2024 vision, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this is probably the first big step of it.
It's indicating that
Yeah.
they've started.
I
Yeah.
think because they
And
will,
we'll see.
like there will
Like-
be TV from like all around the world
Yeah.
covering.
No, it's changing now.
But we've
Saudi
never
Saudi
seen it.
has
Like,
like
when
Beyonce soon and
I mean,
concerts
we-
and
So far, we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, we're not,
unprecedented.
we're
yeah.
not, I don't think it's our point to say it's good or bad or whatever, but it's not far off and it's huge. Like,
All you
it's
can do is
something
give the country a chance to
Yeah.
prove, right?
Yeah, like, and to be honest, from all the competitors that were at the presentation last time, everybody was excited.
Yeah.
'Cause obviously, the terrain will be amazing, and that's all we're looking for.
The-
I don't care about the politics, to
No.
be honest.
I mean, the only thing you
And
have to do
that
is
would be really cool.
to be open-minded about it, see what happens. I mean, it's not far off. People are still going to race the race.
And they
I
will do
think-
their best. Like
Yeah,
Saudi
for
will
sure.
do their best to give us the best race,
to put on
and
a good show.
Yeah.
that'll be. I'm
Host
sure that'll be
country.
a
Yeah.
good race.
It's not far off.
It's not
All
far
right.
off in 6 months.
Thank you, Benji.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Benji.
guys.
We're gonna invite
Thank you, Issa. Thank you, Oli.
We're gonna invite you soon, and we're gonna talk about everything that's not Dakar.
Everything what we don't know.
Exactly.
That's a
About you.
That's a different podcast. All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye.
boys.
Ciao.
See you.